What's up, y'all? James Hancock. I am back. I've been on a bit of a hiatus lately, but I'm very fired up to resume my Dark Souls walkthrough. Now, what I'm doing here is a brief kind of side quest that you don't have to do, but I recommend doing it because it opens up an important shortcut. There is a covenant where you can turn in 30 humanities, and it unlocks a specific shortcut after the demon ruins. And for me, it's an important step because it helps improve your chances of getting Solar in the final battle. It's just also you get to finish the storyline. Essentially, Solar is down in the demon ruins, and he'll help you with the fight, but he's gonna go crazy. Like there's some maggot that's gonna jump on his head, or he's gonna lose faith or confidence. Something happens with Solar where he flips the fuck out, and you end up having to fight him. However, if you use the shortcut, you can kill this little maggot thing before it goes after him, and he will remain, an enthusiastic, faith-build, whatever, paladin, knight, whatever you want to call him. And I just really enjoy finishing a quest line, especially when I've been able to take his story as far as I have. So anyway, I'm just showing you real quick one complete route through the depths, which in my opinion is the best farming route for farming humanities as quickly as possible. You could just go grind mobs and use your souls to buy humanities. I don't know. That just I would have to do some math to actually figure out whether it's faster, because I could go to the painted world of Ariamis and farm those slime dudes with the spears, which is probably the fastest way to farm souls. I would have to time it to figure out if this way is faster or if the other way is faster for getting humanities as quickly as possible. At any rate, I decided to go this route, and the most important thing is just remember to put on your gold serpent ring to improve your chances of getting humanity drops. I mean, on this run, I typically average between 1 and 3, I guess that would be 2, but around 1, 2, or 3 humanities per run through. And I only need 10 to get to the point where I can turn them at 30, but obviously I want to have a few left over in case I need them for kindling bonfires or restoring my humanity. So yeah, the depths at this point should be painfully easy. You want to always kill that guy if you can before he gets to that hole, otherwise he'll fall through, and if he's got loot, then you've got to go fight those damn basilisks. But why have you watched me do this? The reason I was gone for so long, because I'm trying to get this walkthrough finished as fast as humanly possible in order to get back to Dark Souls 3, because as you saw in my previous video, we've now got an October 25th release date of the DLC, and I want to be firmly embedded in the Dark Souls 3 world before that goes live, so that when it does goes live, I'm kind of like, part of the community and can take advantage of it better, blah, blah, blah. But I ate something on, what is today, Friday? On Wednesday night. And it was like, I've been trying to be healthy, and I ate some weird, like, California bowl with tofu and, like, brown rice and all this stuff, but it also had, like, some weird lettuce and barbecue sauce. And anyway, I got one of the worst cases of food poisoning. Probably the worst case of food poisoning in my life. And I'm actually getting like my gag reflex kicking in even thinking about it. But one of the things I try to do with this video series is not just make it about purely Dark Souls, but also provide some entertainment value. So if this grosses you out, I apologize, but I'm going there. But let's just put it this way. Like a few hours after eating this crap, and I'd done a podcast about Shon Sono with my buddy Kyle Reardon, and I was feeling okay, but also I noticed I was hungry, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to eat. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why am I hungry and I can't figure out what I want to eat? And then I fell asleep for like an hour, and when I woke up around like 10 at night, what followed was like 8 hours of pure torture, where literally it was like I had a fire hose in place of my mouth and my asshole, where both vomit and diarrhea were spraying basically all night long. And there were times, as much as I would like to be able to say I kept the two activities totally separate, there were times where I failed to do that. Anyway, quick interruption. This is me just because I'm farming humanities, just invading another world. Because I'm part of the Dark Wraiths, if I win an invasion, I get a humanity. So I was just testing to see how fast it would be and how quickly I'd get a match and whether or not I would win. And I kind of went into this unprepared, because what I didn't realize during one of these invasions is that my heals are turned off, and that puts me at a distinct disadvantage if the person I'm going after doesn't obey the kind of the unwritten rule of not using heals while in duels. Granted, it's not a duel. He didn't sign up for this, so he can kind of do whatever the hell he wants. I mean, if I was in the middle of a quest or middle of a run-through and somebody invaded me, Like, go fuck yourself. I'm going to heal as much as I want because it's not like I signed up for some PvP here. But I just wanted to experiment with it. What's cool is that all the bad guys are hopping out, but obviously they're not attacking me because I'm an invading spirit. So that's one advantage. So if I had lured him down here, I would have had, I guess, one advantage working for me, apart from the fact that I don't have my Estus flasks. But so basically I got my strongest spell equipped, and I'm just going to try and kind of steamroll over him. I'm also equipping my Dark Hand because if I do the power attack of it, I can pull out an additional humanity. Okay, this is just me just demonstrating that nothing's going to hurt me. I look pretty cool all in red as well. It's just fun running through here when I'm essentially one of the bad guys. But this guy's clearly just chilling and waiting for me to arrive because otherwise I would have run into him by now. He knows he's being invaded. And I'm just glad that I was able to find a match at all. I mean, with a game that's 5 years old, finding PvP matches can be a bit of an unknown proposition or kind of a roll of the dice, whatever expression or figure of speech you want to use. And I haven't done really, I guess I've done one PvP match in this entire walkthrough when I joined the Blade of the Dark Moon. So I just figured I would show off one Dark Wraith invasion. Now, this guy's already moving, so I don't do my normal bow because he already swung. So I'm just like, all right, well, fuck you, boy. It's time to get down to it. So I started blasting some Crystal Soul Spears and just figuring I would trade shots. I didn't realize then that this fucker was going to heal, and I can't. So now it's like, well, god damn it. I tried to steal his soul there, and it didn't work. He hit me. I should have just blasted another spell. Now I got my other soul spears hooked up. If he had not healed, I mean, he would be dead at this point. But sadly, he's just healing through my blast, and now all my fast, powerful spells are gone. So I'm totally fucked now. Because all I got is my little shitty soul spears, and he's going to go down there and heal. I try to do a big plunging attack, which I get off. Boom! Plunge attack, and it didn't do shit. It did 143 damage. He's got so much armor on. Anyway, he should have just finished me off, but he's running. I mean, man, if he, if he obeyed the unwritten rule, I would have killed him 3 times over. But he's just not playing that rule once again. I totally understand. He didn't ask to be invaded, but that's part of Dark Souls, man. It's supposed to have code. It's guy code. The fact that he's got a cool mask on shows that he's already got, done some exploring. So he's back here doing who knows what. At any rate, I'm dead. It didn't work. So, but he's not even really gloating, or he's waving. So that's all right. Whatever. I'm not the world's best PvP person in Dark Souls, and I will be better prepared next time. Anyway, going back to all my biological dysfunction. This was one of the situations where I was so dehydrated and so fucked up and so sick that if I were to take even a half a sip of water, just tasting the water, I would spontaneously vomit. I mean, it was insanely bad. I literally could not put anything in my mouth, and I was like, am I going to have to go to the fucking hospital? Like, what the hell is going on here? And when I woke up, my back was so sore from the excessive vomit. I basically pulled every muscle in my back, including major muscles like between my shoulder blades and my lower back. And I was so dehydrated and so sore. I thought I had kidney stones. I was literally like lying on my stomach in agony. Couldn't even touch my lower back. And I just started. Finally, the following day, I could chug water. I wasn't like puking anymore, and I just started pumping fluids. And after like essentially 24 hours of like an IV of like Gatorade and water and like every other fluid I can get my hands on, and ginger ale and like saltine crackers, I finally feel like a normal human being again. So I'm back to my Dark Souls walkthrough, and if all that shit grossed you out, I apologize. But yeah, with this channel, I'm going to be talking about movies, my podcast, like, sex life, anything I can think of when there's not much going on. So anyway, I'm back here with the, I guess they're called the Daughters of Chaos, or whatever the hell they're called. I'm eating 30 humanities in order to, what sucks is that in Dark Souls 1, you can't mass consume 30 humanities at once. So just equip them to your action bar, or whatever you want to call it, and stock them up. And then what's even more annoying is you got to turn them in one at a time. So yeah, when I'm doing something monotonous like this, I guess I could fast forward, but I want you to see all my gameplay from start to finish. Like, there's nothing that's happened that I haven't shown, apart from killing a few rats off screen. And so now I'm just turning these bastards in, and this is so tedious. In Dark Souls 3, you can definitely turn in multiple things at once. I don't know if in Dark Souls 2 you can, but I'm pretty sure you can. But after I use the shortcut, I'm not going to be doing pyromancy with this character, at least I don't think so. And so I'm probably going to come back and just kill this girl and get the Firekeeper soul, because I want to get my Estus Flask up to +6. So if I kill this girl, If I also kill the Guardian in Orlando, who will come after me after I dispel the illusion of Guinevere, I will get to +6 in one full walkthrough, so that'll be how you max it out. But what's cool is after you turn in 30, you get an insanely powerful spell. And the spell that you get, basically you punch the ground and you unleash hell all around you. That is the spell you use to farm a lot of souls in Painted World of Ariamis. What essentially you want to do is put on the Havel gear so you can't get pushed around really. Walk up in the middle of all the guys with the slimes and the spears and just blast, and they will all get one-shotted, and you will farm like 100,000 souls every 10 minutes. Something insane. But my very first playthrough, I just did it for an hour for fun. And when I finished my playthrough, I was at an almost obnoxiously high level, but I'd never cleared Dark Souls before, so I was just hedging my bets. I wanted to be as powerful as I could. So now, is that the first? Yeah, I think that's the first Covenant that I've maxed out on this playthrough, and it's probably the only Covenant I'm going to max out on this playthrough. So anyway, at least I maxed out one Covenant during this playthrough just to show how it's all done. But yeah, Covenants are weird. In Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, they've never quite perfected the Covenant system, which is both cool and not cool, because I feel like if it was perfectly balanced and perfectly worked out, it would kind of destroy the mystique of some of them, because some of them should be more difficult or weird or hard to do, so you get a better feeling of achievement. But some of the Covenants just have zero purpose, and it's like in Dark Souls 3, there's one or two of them that basically no one is ever in, but there are other Covenants that require people to be in them in order to perform their functions. So it's like, that's shitty game design, where you design two Covenants at war, one of which people want to join and one of which people don't want to join. It's like, put some sort of bait in the other one that'll make people want to be a part of it so that you can actually have some PvP happen. So yeah, they have never quite figured it out. It's a flawed system, but I like it when it functions well. There are always a few Covenants that work really well, then a few that are just a non-event. So fire's gone here because I killed the Ceaseless Discharge way back when, and now you're going to see how far I've come since my early video, where the second boss I fought in the game, in I guess it's called the Undead Burg, I fought one of these bastards on the bridge, and I was using plunge attacks and all that good stuff. And now I'm going to fight like 7 of them. But I'm just going to pull them one at a time, and I don't need to do any plunge attacks. I don't need to do any tricks. 3 Great Soul Arrows is enough to kill each and every one of them. So yeah, I'm just going to take them out. Yeah, they like to jump forward and swing, so as long as I just time my backpedaling at the appropriate time, then he goes down. It's funny, backpedaling was such a bad word in World of Warcraft. There was no faster way to get kicked from a raid than if you were a backpedaler or if you were a keyboard turner. And you couldn't not get called out or not get busted, because when somebody saw you turning super slowly, clearly you're turning your keyboard and not with your mouse. And if somebody saw you walking backwards away from a boss instead of strafing, essentially walking sideways away from a boss, which is full speed, and you would just get called out, and some people just could not make the adjustment from playing with their keyboard to playing with their mouse, and I remember when I finally got over that hump. I got called out a few times and had a bunch of fights and everything, but I just kept thinking, well, if I'm just really like well prepared, then I can compensate for it. But it's like, once I finally made the switch, it's like, oh, now I understand. It's like dramatically more efficient. But in this game, playing on the Xbox, you have no choice but to backpedal. I don't know if on a PC you can strafe at full speed. That would be interesting to see, just as a comparison between PC gaming and console gaming, is if in Dark Souls you can strafe away from an opponent and be firing attacks, but on a controller you just don't have that luxury. It's just not possible. Anyway, this is pretty repetitive and monotonous, so what I will talk about while I go through the motions is my latest episode of Wrong Reel. If you go to iTunes and look it up, my latest episode was about this Japanese filmmaker, Shion Sono, a filmmaker whose movies I was kind of aware of, but had not seen any of prior to being recommended that I watch them by Kyle Reardon, who's a young filmmaker who I've done a couple podcasts with. And if you have a taste for kind of unconventional, outrageous, wildly kind of weird and funny, but also disgusting and offensive cinema, Shion Sono is absolutely going to be right up your alley. We've only done our part 1 so far, where we covered 3 of his movies, which was Suicide Club, Why Don't You Play in Hell, and Tokyo Tribe. And he is just completely bonkers and insane. I mean, Suicide Club is all about a new trend where teenagers in Japan are just committing suicide, possibly because of this like pop song group or pop group that's kind of inspiring them, and it's all the cops trying to figure out why all these teenagers all of a sudden think it's so cool just to do mass suicides. And Why Don't You Play in Hell? It's about like a war between rival Yakuza gangs who want to make a movie about it, and they're these young filmmakers who've been dreaming their entire lives about becoming directors, and now they have a chance to do it, but they actually have to film real battles. And then Tokyo Tribe was a hip-hop musical set between warring Yakuza factions in kind of an imaginary Tokyo. And the 3 films couldn't be more different, but they're incredibly violent, incredibly funny, incredibly sexual, and in a weird way kind of strangely optimistic, like full of like love and hope and all these wonderful characters. So his name is spelled S-I-O-N and last name is S-O-N-O. I highly recommend you look into his flicks, and I'm going to be doing a part 2 pretty damn soon. Alright, so this is me changing my gear. This lava, some games like lava will kind of like lightly hurt your health. The lava in Dark Souls is not fucking around. It kills you in seconds. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put on my fire resist ring, as well as the gear that you get after Ceaseless Discharge. I haven't been wearing it, but the gold hemmed black cloak, which you get on the level above behind the boss, is some of the best fire resist gear in the game, if not the best. I do a quick check just comparing the chest piece to other pieces to see how the fire. This got 58. And I'm not seeing anything else that is on the same level. Maybe Havel's gear is better, but I'm not seeing any numbers that are higher. So I have that on, and I've got my ring on, and now it's time to run and jump and grab that. But this is one of the crucial embers of the game, so I have to get it. Yeah, look at my health, just boom, 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 boom. It just ticks so quickly. And I started to slow roll because I was, not slow roll, that's medium roll. I didn't realize that by having my bow on, it punched me up over the 25% mark. And yeah, I'm a big fan, at least in Dark Souls 1, keeping my gear below 25% my total capacity, because I like being able to run and jump as fast as humanly possible. And, these games are designed in a way where you can clear the whole game without armor. I mean, the best players in the world clear the whole game without armor in like 45 minutes. So if they can do it in 45 minutes, surely over the course of 25 or 30 hours of like a normal playthrough, you can find the courage or find the nerve to down the bosses, and just don't get hit. Like, most of the bosses in the game have pretty fair, predictable. This is me just overcompensating, rolling too much because I was so paranoid about the lava. But almost every enemy, I mean, Dark Souls is really, really tough, but it's really, really fair, and it's really, really predictable. Once you learn the bosses and learn certain things, you're never going to be like, oh, that was bullshit, I shouldn't have gotten hit, or that's bullshit. I mean, usually if you die, it's because you made a mistake. Actually, 99 times out of 100, if you die in Dark Souls, it's because you fucked up. The game's not screwing you over. Like, the one exception would be if you get invaded by badass players. And then maybe you want to have some gear just because you're going to be trading shots a lot and that sort of thing. So I'm just checking around the area to make sure there's no loot. I've only cleared the demon ruins, I think, 3 times ever. So I just like to, if I don't have an area memorized, I just want to make sure I kind of double check to make sure I'm not overlooking any potential items. But you should recognize that guy ahead. He's one of the guys that I fought also in the kind of lower Undead Burg, or whatever the area is right before the depths, where it's like a really, really small, tight room with the dogs. There he is. He died in 2 shots, but back then he seemed pretty tough. So moving right along. Yeah, I'm not putting on my normal gear just for variety. It's just fun to look different for once. And it kind of seems to fit the area, and that's fucking retarded. There's a hole in the sidewalk, and I walked over it. So that's Dark Souls for you, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you just die to gravity when you least expect it. The reason I revived a human is that the Knight of Thorns, aka Kirk, is about to invade me, and I want to make sure that I kill him. Even though I missed him in the depths, I can't remember where the third place is he appears. I do want to still try to get the Thorn armor if possible during this playthrough. I'm not going to spend a whole day trying to get it, but I know he appears right here. I'll have to check where his other appearance is. And also, when you kill him, you get like 30,000 souls or 20,000 souls from him. So I'm just looking down. That's the hole that I fell through. So be careful for that hole, because obviously it will kill the shit out of you. So be careful. Oh my god, that was embarrassing. So putting back on my sorcery ring. I'm not putting back on my crown dusk hat yet, or dust crown, whatever the hell it's called, just because I'm enjoying looking like one of the Nazgul in Lord of the Rings. It just, some outfits seem to go well with certain terrains or environments. So yeah, a bunch of Capra demons all down here, and yeah, there he is. Dark Spirit Knight Kirk has invaded. He wears the thorn armor, and he does a lot of forward rolling. He's actually a relatively smart computer-generated NPC, because a lot of computer-generated, the big danger is fighting him on this ledge and rolling off. But as you've seen in the past, some NPCs will roll away when I shoot at them, which makes it really easy to kill them. But anyway, I got my timing down and finally took his ass out. So yeah, 26,950 souls from killing him. And what did I get? What did I pick up? I missed it. Anyway, doesn't matter. When you kill him, you'll see. So yeah, I'm very much within range of passing another level. So once I kill these guys, I will. Yeah, I mean, from this point on in the game, every zone that I clear gives me a crap load of souls. You'll also, if you are familiar with Dark Souls, you're probably thinking, why are you doing the Demon Ruins before finishing up like the Crystal Forest and Crystal Cave, which you now have access to because you've cleared Duke's Archives. Here's my plan. Is that because my spells don't do dick against those crystal golems, I'm thinking that by the time I clear this zone and the zone after it, perhaps I will have farmed enough souls where I'll be able to wield my greatsword. And I need to have one buff on my weapon that's not magic or sorcery dependent, so that people that are resistant to it can get hit. And I've talked in the past about doing like a cult, but that doesn't make any sense because a cult scales with faith. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to level up a weapon with a buff that's not dependent on any stat, because obviously if it's going to be intelligence, it'll be another magic of faith, and I mean another magic or sorcery kind of thing. So it doesn't make any sense. I need a different kind of attack to hit enemies that are resistant to magic. So the options for that in terms of buffs that don't scale with an ability would either be going with fire or with lightning. Like at the upper echelons where you do have like strength at 60 or intelligence at 60, it doesn't make any sense at all to have a weapon with those buffs, because if you have a buff that scales with those ability scores, you're going to do dramatically more damage. However, if you're going up against an enemy that's resistant to that, you need to have an alternative. And my heroes over at Gate for Games, when they do their Dark Souls walkthrough, they do the entire thing with a lightning-infused halberd. And I think they jack it up to plus 10 or plus, whatever the max is, plus 10 or plus 15, I can't remember. But if you have a lightning-infused weapon or a lightning-buffed weapon and you jack it up to its maximum potential, it is more than powerful to kill everything in the game. So I'm just going to look and see what the resistances are for the various creatures in the Crystal Cave area. And whatever they're weakest against, I'm just going to make my Great Scythe that buff. Thing is, though, I can't wield it yet until I have Strength 14 and Dexterity 14. So I'm hoping that by the time I finish this zone and the zone after it, I'll have accumulated enough souls where I'll be able to wield it and then go do it properly. And if not, then I'll just have to roll with the punches. But the good news is I'm going to get that weapon up and running pretty damn soon. So for the expansion pack, which is 3 full zones, I will most likely at least be running around with the Great Scythe. Granted, I probably won't even use it that much, but it'll just be cool and it'll be variety, and I'll get to swing it at some people. It's just fun to play with, even if most of the time it's going to be blasting people from a distance. And that's probably going to be all I do with my stats. Like intelligence 60, so I'm almost there. Vitality, I'm going to keep it 35 for the time being. Attunement will probably stay at 19. I don't think I'll take it any higher because 5 spells seems to be doing me just fine. I'll probably buy the remaining Soul Spear that's available to buy in the Firelink Shrine. So yeah, I'm going to buy a few more spells. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, and a lot of the spells I still need to buy from Big Hat Logan are insanely expensive. But I'm just hoping that I'll just keep finding enough souls to buy all the crap that I want to buy. There's still plenty of stuff to do. Whether or not I'll make it to 100, I don't know, just because there are so many spells that I want to buy. We'll just see what happens. I mean, I'm having no trouble clearing zones right now, so we'll just see where I end up. Yeah, I don't anticipate getting stuck due to having too weak gear or too weak spells or anything like that. I'm just a completionist, and I want to have all the spells, and I want to have all the stats that I planned or been planning on getting, just to kind of complete my whole master plan. I won't slow things down on the videos for the sake of my OCD characteristics. So these little worm things, they like to pop up. They're a giant pain in the ass. They can shoot like shit on you that will wreck your gear and make it break, so you gotta repair. So you want to avoid their little breath weapons. Down off to the side are a bunch more of them, but what I'm going to do is fight the boss first, because I want to get access to the bonfire on the other side, and just I want to fight them while I've still got all my most powerful spells in my little arsenal. But I was debating running through there, but then I decided I'm going to go kill this little demon fucker off to the side first. He's just out of range to be no target with my spells, so it's time to just take him on. At this distance, they're pretty good at dodging spells, like as you can tell. But yeah, they're just not fast enough. If I'm just spamming spells, they're so fucked. I'm not even using my fastest soul arrow. Great soul arrow is a little bit slower, but it just packs a little bit more of a punch. And with my intelligence where it is, I don't even have my dust crown on. My spells now are just slamming people. So yeah, I'm pretty much at max spell damage. I just need to fill out the corners and buy the remaining spells that I've not bought yet. Anyway, this boss coming up, I can't remember his name. He's pretty damn easy. Down there is the shortcut, which I've been speaking about, but I'm not going to take that yet because that's going to be in the next video. I'm just going to do everything related to the next zone. Then I'll show you both routes and what they both involve. But yeah, Demon Firesage, he's yet another, I think it's the third guy that we have fought that looks like that. I almost die here because I'm being really, really stupid. I should have had my shield on when I came in. By some miracle, I don't die there. He should have whacked me, but he's getting healed up, and he is coming up behind. Skadoosh! Dodge that one. But yeah, vertical attacks, easy as hell to dodge. Of course, I got hit by that one because I suck. But yeah, dodge to the side, blast, or dodge to the side and swipe. He's super easy. I mean, if you compare him to, I think he might be the easiest in terms of his moveset of the three big fat demon dudes. So yeah, I can't imagine you'll have any trouble with him, because in the very beginning you're just learning the game, and so you make mistakes. And the one that you fight the second time actually has an insane moveset. He does that crazy forward explosion stuff. This guy, he's just a joke. Just a nuke in his face. So you know, he did, and that's free souls. Sorry if I keep chugging so much water. I need to check that Demon's Catalyst, whether or not it, how it compares with my the Catalyst that I'm carrying from Beatrice. I really like Beatrice's Catalyst, but I totally forgot to compare and contrast the stats. I'm pretty sure this staff is the best one I can use in the game, but I'm not 100% positive. But I am going to be making the Catalyst that you can make from Manus' Soul, because it's like a big-ass like weapon that you can swing that also casts spells. But I'm going up here real quick just to unlock one of the remaining shortcuts in the game. There are not a lot of shortcuts left that I need to unlock, but this one's kind of cool because it takes you back up to the Daughters of Chaos Covenant, or the Chaos Keepers, whatever it's called, the place where I turned into 30 humanities. So if you were to die on this next boss that I'm about to fight, you don't have to fight your way through all the demon ruins. Again, you can just come back down. So, yeah, I mean, once again, one of the greatest strengths about Dark Souls is the world design and the way zones fold back in on each other. And you're about to see this elevator here connects to an area that previously you would have thought never would be connected to anything, but in fact brings you down here. It's an awesome shortcut. I mean, this is a shortcut I'll probably only use once ever, but might as well unlock it and go to the bonfire. And then it'll probably be time to change my gear back to my superhero outfit. But yeah, I'm just gonna run down here and get my spells and get my health and get my flasks, and then go fuck up another boss man and talk to her by accident instead of hitting the bonfire. That just happens sometimes when you've got a big giant spider lady next to a bonfire. And I'm looking forward to killing her and getting another Firekeeper soul. So what am I doing? Oh, I'm just eating some souls because I'm going to try to pass another level. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like the rate at which I pass levels is accelerating because I'm now powerful enough where I can just farm the hell out of high-end content at a pretty rapid clip. So just all the souls that I'm picking up, all the things I'm killing, I just feel like I'm passing levels left and right. So yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll be past 100 by the time this walkthrough is finished. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm already at 83, which is pretty dang high. So yeah, time to put on my superhero outfit. I am a fan of this little ensemble that I have cooked up. I think there's like little like video contests where people will turn in their favorite gear sets that they've come up with, and the rule is you can't use more than 2 pieces from any one set. Like you have to try to like mix and match different things, and it's kind of dorky, but it is part of the fun of playing Dark Souls is coming up with those interesting matching sets. So this one though, I've never worn before in any character, and I'm particularly proud of it. Yeah, I don't feel like fighting all those little fire breather things again. So this is a shortcut to get back down. I'm just gonna roll off the edge, and if you roll when you hit the ground, you won't take much damage, just a tad. Oh, and I know I'm running back out here. If you run back out here, because I left one part of that, because I was running low or wanted to save my spells for the boss, I left one part of this zone deliberately incomplete so that I could come back with full spells and then take a crack at it. So yeah, I'm not 100% finished with the Demon Ruins. I'm surprised I didn't see any summoning signals. For whatever reason, I think people recognize that boss is so easy, but I've never come through here and not seen summoning signals. Granted, most Dark Souls players right now are playing Dark Souls 3, so it makes sense, but it does seem like the popularity of Dark Souls 3 has either people who love Dark Souls 1 just playing it again for sentimental value, or has got people curious, like what the hell is this, and just going back and trying it. But yeah, I kind of cheesed that one, but that's part of the beauty of being a sorcerer, is that if you can get a good angle where they can't attack you, blast them in the face and take advantage of it. I feel no guilt. I don't feel a need to prove myself in melee combat when one good swing will send me flying over that cliff. I don't feel like dying to gravity twice in the same video. That would be more humiliating than my fragile confidence can bear. So running down this hallway, things you got to be aware of is those giant like caterpillar things will come out of the ceiling periodically, both in front of you and behind you, and if they shoot their shit on you, your gear could break, or in making it very, very difficult to kill them. First one's easy, pops down, but the next one, when you get to a certain point, 2 drop down behind you and 2 drop down in front of you, and you can either roll out or fight forward or whatever you want to do, but it is kind of a dangerous situation because if multiple ones shoot at you at once, then you're gonna I finally got hit. So I should probably repair my gear in the next video because I definitely will. I've put a huge dent in their durability. So I make the mistake of not checking this treasure chest, but I end up not paying the price, luckily. Large flame ember. So that's if I decide to go with the flame buff on my great scythe, at least now I can take a flame weapon all the way to max. And to do that, I have to go back down to the catacombs to that big ass like skull giant blacksmith dude down the bottom. He is the only person that knows how to work with that ember. And I've never actually maxed up a flame weapon all the way up. And I would have to check this to confirm, but the crystal guys in the crystal cave, when I played through as a pyromancer, were like falling apart like they were made out of paper when I was throwing my spells at them. So it wouldn't surprise me if flame is their one weakness. Once again, I do have to confirm that, but going with the flame buff might make sense on the great side, especially since I'm not going to be using the weapon that much. I'm basically just going to be leveling up that weapon for that one zone, and I'll use it a bit just for fun and for dress up in like the Ulaship Township and Ulasil Township and all those spots. But yeah, it makes me kind of sad that I'm rapidly running out of zones to explore. There are little like side bosses that I still need to kill, like Gwendolyn, and I need to kill the Red Drake on the bridge at the beginning of the game. Like there are little fun little projects I can do to kind of mop up the remaining quarters of the game. But I've got this area, I've got the crystal area, I've got the 3 DLC zones, and then I've got Gwen in his final zone. So that's not that many zones left. I mean, yeah, count them on one hand. So the end is now in sight. But I'm definitely going to keep this tune. You never know if they'll have like some event where they'll promote people playing Dark Souls for a day. I remember back in June, I think there's a thing where the Reddit, I think like the Dark Souls official Reddit account got 100,000 subscribers. So in celebration of it, they had like a Dark Souls 1 day, and a lot of people logged back in. But anywho, this I very well might end up deciding to take this tune through New Game Plus at some point, but there's not a ton of incentive to do so. In Dark Souls 2, if you played on New Game Plus, there were new spells to be had, and there were new rings to be had, and things kind of were in different places, and there were new mobs, so it was kind of a rewarding kind of second world experience. Reminds me, like in the very early days of my gaming, when I was playing the original NES, when you cleared Legend of Zelda, when you played it through again on World 2, everything was totally different. And that was always a huge incentive to keep playing, because different dungeons, different different ads in different areas, like everything was totally different. So it was basically, you were still just as powerful, but you got to at least play through the whole damn thing again. Actually, maybe they make you start over. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I played Legend of Zelda. But Dark Souls 1, there's not a ton of incentive to clear it again, because like, I mean, if you play as a faith build, you can turn in Gwen's soul to get the most powerful lightning spear. And there's a few little things you can do, but that's one of the few drawbacks of Dark Souls 1. And so yeah, Dark Souls 2, while an inferior game, does give you more of a reason to play it through New Game Plus. Dark Souls 3 kind of shit the bed on that, because there's not a lot of incentive to play through New Game Plus. I mean, you can go through and get stronger rings for PvP, which a lot of people do if they take PvP real seriously, but the game experience is fundamentally the same, apart from just ramped up difficulty. Now, this boss, he's just a big flaming giant caterpillar guy. He's kind of gross. He's kind of, I don't know, one of my least favorite bosses, not because of the challenge, I just think he's kind of boring. He seems just kind of like a generic, gross kind of demon flame thing you've seen in a million other games. The lava here will fuck you up, and I did not put on any flame resist gear. But basically what I always do is, you don't have to do this, but it's how I fight them. I always run around to the side, to this area where there's more room to maneuver, and then I just lure him over. But sometimes Solar will get a little bit overzealous and try to fight him elsewhere, but if you just run over here, Solar should run after you. And yeah, you want Solar to engage the boss, and then you can just pick him off. But he's got some big, like, crazy, like, tentacle attacks, and he jumps around. I don't even really know what he does. I don't even know if he's ever killed me. I think I've died by getting disoriented and like dying in the lava, but he should not pose any real difficulty for you. But yeah, that's with his like big giant stretch attack. And I have 0 stamina, and even me with my shield up, I'll still able to take no damage from that attack. So he is not having me worried at all. I mean, he hit me there because I shot a spell at him, but I'm just trying to get him out of the lava so that we can fight him properly. I love Crystal Souls, but it looks so damn cool in the air. So, yeah. This is me just getting totally stuck underneath him. I'm still locked onto him, so all my spells are still hitting him, so I just decided just to keep blasting. So I don't even know what I did, but he was on top of me, I was locked on. What's cool now is I got the orange shard ring, and the orange shard ring, when you put it on, makes you incredibly resistant to lava damage. You can walk around on lava, which will be incredibly important in the next zone, where I'll spend quite a bit of time walking around on lava. So I just somehow, even though I paused on it, somehow I'm just not seeing it as I'm going through here, and I'm trying to find it and trying to put it on. But it is an important piece of gear for the next zone. But yeah, lava goes from being basically lethal to being something you barely even notice once you put this fucking thing on. There it is, reduces lava damage. So down here is the route that is the long way to the next zone, which is a totally normal way to go. You can do it. It basically means you're going to fight Solar, so you don't want to do that, but it's where the next bonfire is. Like I said, I want to save Solar for the last fight because I just want to complete that quest. I just feel like it'd be cool to show him complete his journey through all of Dark Souls, plus it makes Gwen laughably easy. If you have him on your team, just explore the area since I've got my lava resist to see if there's any hidden little goodies around, but doesn't appear to be so. It's time to go get yet another level, which is nice. So yeah, that's the long way. The next video, I'm going to start with the shortcut, which is up on top. And once I open up the shortcut, then I'll come back and show the long way. That way you just see both options. But because I spent those 30 humanities, I might as well take advantage of it and do the shortcut. Another thing you can do though, if you don't feel like spending the 30 humanities to unlock the shortcut, you can go up to the door of the shortcut where the little maggot thing is and cast a bunch of like poison spells or toxic spells if you're a pyromancer, and the cloud will go through the door and kill it, meaning that it won't infect or kill Solar or make him go crazy or whatever. So there is a way to cheese it so that you don't open the shortcut and still keep Solar on your side. I've never done it that way, but there are definitely people who have chosen to go that route. So I'm going to put a point into strength now, I believe, because I need to get my strength to 14. I need to get my dex 14. So I'm 5 levels away from wielding a great scythe. And we'll see how long it takes to get those 5 levels. Hopefully it won't take too long. But anyway, that is the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching, and thanks so much for putting up with all my biological discussion of vomit and diarrhea and back pain and all that stuff at the beginning of the video. And hopefully I'll be a healthier, stronger person moving forward. And my goal is to try to finish this whole Dark Souls series this weekend. And if you want to give me a shout on Twitter, you can do so at Colbrax. And thank you so much for watching. Talk to y'all soon.